I don't know about you guys, but I love RPGs, especially when it comes to the bosses. A good boss can either make or break an RPG. It can be the difference between you having one of the most memorable gaming experiences of your life, or a memory that you look upon and it still makes you want to pull your hair out to this day. But what if you could fight with those bosses that gave you such a hard time? Well, with this deck, that's possible. Because Generaiders are based off RPG and JRPG bosses, and with their field spell generator boss stage, well, you definitely get to feel like you have the home turf advantage in one of those games. So without further ado, let's get into the profile. So let's go ahead and get into the profile. First of all, you're going to be running 3 Lopter Shadow of the Generator bosses. He is a very good card. If you don't know what he does, he's level 4, 1500 attack, 1500 defense. During either player's turn, during the main phase, you can tribute a generator monster to special summon any other generator monster from your deck. That is a quick effect on either player's main phase, so he can dodge stuff like Imperm, he can dodge stuff like a Vet Veiler, and you're usually going to go get your Searcher with him, your Searcher being Mardell, or maybe a Vala for an extension play if it's late game and you want to go into your Leviathan. But yes, overall, very great card. Also, during the opponent's turn only, he gives all your generator monsters 1000 attack and defense, so it becomes a little bit harder to run over your tokens, but yes, very good card nonetheless. Next up, you're going to be running 3 Vala, Cityr of the Generator bosses. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. She's one of the newer cards for Generator. She came out in Photon Hypernova. And basically what she does is that if she's in your hand or your graveyard, so pretty good start there, you discard any Generator card from your hand, not monster, card. So you can discard any extra spell or trap that you may have. And then she special summons herself, but then she gets banished whenever she leaves the field. And then on summon, she can special summon any generator from your hand or graveyard. So basically opening you up to rank 9 plays, and also she doesn't negate their effects. So you can actually use that to your advantage. If you have your Searcher in hand, if you have Mardell in hand, you can't get her with Lopter, but you can get her with Vala. She's very good, and that's just on summon. Those are 2 separate effects, so you don't have to get the first effect off in order to get the special summon effect. So you can actually special summon her off Lopter or off boss stage to open yourself up to some rank 9 plays. She is a very good card and very nice to have in the deck. Next up, gonna be running 2 Har, Generator Boss of Storms. He is basically the guy you're going to be going into 99.9% of the time because he tributes 2 generator monsters or 2 spellcasters, and he's an Omni Negate. He negates the activation and destroys anything that your opponent does, but that's a hard once per turn. You can't do that anymore after you do that. He also has a second effect which can come up sometimes. You mainly want it to come up whenever your opponent doesn't have a lot of cards in hand, but whenever they add a card from the deck to the hand, you can activate his effect to make them choose a monster from their hand or field and send it to the graveyard. Now, that can open them up to some good plays if they have a pretty big hand. So you mainly want it there to be activated if they don't have a lot of options. You want to reduce their options even further. But you don't want to do it whenever they have a lot of options because that can open you up to some plays that you don't really want to be a part of. Next up, you're going to have your one of generator bosses, Mardell. She basically on summon is a Searcher. Nidhogg, who is your go-to after Har, which is, he's an inherent summon negate. So he negates Synchros, he negates Xyz, he negates Links, and destroys them. So very, very good. They don't even hit board. Hela, Generator Boss of Doom. She's basically a worse Vala, but she came first. You tribute any generator or zombie to target any generator or zombie in your grave, special summon them in defense mode. So pretty good there. And then 2 more. Frody, Generator Boss of Swords. Some people don't run Frody. I do, because he can be pretty good late game if you're running out of options. And what he does is you tribute any number of generators, target that many cards on the board, destroy them, and then your opponent draws 1 for each. Now, giving your opponent cards there is pretty nasty and not great, but if you're pushing for game, it can actually be a pretty good godsend. And then finally, and I believe he only destroys monsters, not cards. Yes, he only destroys monsters. So you want to make sure that they don't really have any back row if you're pushing for game there. And then finally, 1 Utgarda, Generator Boss of Delusion. He is basically like Har. He's one of the cards that they got as a second block support. And what he does is he tributes 2 generator monsters to target a card on the board and banish it. Pretty simple, but pretty effective. And those are your one of generators that you're going to be running. Next up, for other level 9 monsters that you're going to be running 2 yugioh and Aegon. This guy came out in Rage of the Abyss. He is the newest card for this deck in terms of support. He is a fantastic card. He's like Vala on steroids. So what he does is, if he's in your hand or graveyard, you can reveal another level 9 monster in your hand. Doesn't have to be a generator, just a level 9 monster. Special summon him and that level 9 monster. And that's just fantastic because he doesn't negate the effect. And that just opens you up to rank 9 plays. That opens you up to searching with Mardell. That opens you up to having a negate on the board with the Har. He's just fantastic. Also, he has a secondary effect where if he's used as Xyz material, the Xyz monster that has him under it gains 900 attack, I believe. Yes, 900 attack. So very, very good card. Very, very nice card. And the fact that you can activate that in the hand or graveyard is just fantastic. The only issue is that he special summons in defense mode. So keep that in mind if you're trying to push your game. Next up, 1 Trias Hierarchia. Some people don't run this card. I like it. I do, because with Vala and the tokens that you're making, as well as Lopter, those 3 right there are fairies already. And you're going to have plenty of fairies to tribute with this guy. If you don't know what he does, if he's in your hand or graveyard, as a quick effect, you can tribute up to 3 fairies to special summon him. If you tribute 2 fairies, you get to destroy 1 card your opponent controls. And if you tribute 3 fairies to summon him, you get that effect, plus you get to draw 2. So pretty good if you're kind of scrapping or something. Pretty good if you're sitting there and you need a rank 9 play, but you only have like a Lopter on the board and something else. So pretty good overall, pretty nice. And then now we go on to some of the hand trap monsters. 2 Fualos, not really running 3. 3's a little bricky for my taste. And these are the only Mulch Armies I'm running. Personally, Mulch Army I think is a bit overrated. I know they can be a turn ender, especially with like Perulia and stuff, but I don't know, man. And these are my only 2 Fualos that I own. If I had a third one, I might put it in, but for now, 2 is there. And so far, it hasn't been very clunky, so I'm probably just gonna leave it at 2. And then finally, Triple Ash Blossom Enjoy Spring. Nothing really to say about these. They stop your opponent from sending or special them from deck. Basically, your opponent can't touch their deck while it's in your hand. Next up, we're going to go to spells. We're not using Droll and Lotbird because Droll and Lotbird is good this format, but at the same time, it's not. There's a lot of decks going around that just don't care about Droll and Lotbird, but other decks that do. Mainly Ryziel and Mitsurugi care about Droll, but like Malice don't really care, and all this other stuff don't really care. We're trying to make this competitive. So for spells, you're going to start off with 3 Generator Boss Stage. This card is the heart and soul of the deck. This card is fantastic. If you don't know what this card does, when your opponent adds a card from the main deck to the hand, including by drawing it, so you're normally going to be activating this in their draw phase whenever they draw their first card for the turn, you get to special summon any generator from your deck. Any single one. Doesn't negate the effects. It gets summoned in defense mode, and it just sits there. It doesn't get destroyed. It's fantastic. Next up is the other effect, which only activates on the opponent's turn. That first effect is a soft once per turn. This next one is a hard once per turn, and it only activates on the opponent's turn. In that, if a monster is special summoned, you can activate the effect to special summon as many generator tokens as you have monster zones. Now, I bet you all were wondering whenever I was talking about the monsters, man, these effects seem pretty good, but you have to tribute. That seems a bit like a trade-off there. Well, this card makes it to where there is no trade-off because you have these tokens in order to tribute them to activate their effects. And then these get blown up at the end phase of the turn. So if you don't use them that turn, you're not really keeping these. So these are mainly only there to be tributed. These are basically the little minions for the bosses. And yes, bosses tend to sacrifice their minions in order to get stronger and more powerful. Remember, guys, we're on our villain arc here, and so we love to be doing that. Next up, 1 Generator Boss Quest. Most people would have you run this at 3, and I wouldn't blame them. It's a great card. But I run it at 1, and let me tell you why. So, Boss Quest. Whenever you activate it, you reveal a generator from your hand, not cost, by the way, so that they ash it, you do not have to reveal anything. But you reveal a generator monster from your hand, and then add 2 generator spells or traps from your deck to your hand. They don't have to be the same name, so you can basically just get 2 cards of whatever you want, and then the revealed monster that you revealed off this will go to the bottom of the deck. So you're mainly going to be getting your boss stage and your boss room, or your boss stage and your boss fight off of this card. It's really, really great. It's very good. It is worthy of being a 3 of. However, this current format, if you see this card as a 2 of in your opening hand, and you only have one generator monster in your opening hand, that's not fast enough for the game at the moment. And this card can be searched off Mardell, which is usually what you're going to be searching off Mardell is this card if you don't already have boss stage in your hand. So yeah, it could be a 3 of if you really want it to be, but you're not going to be able to run as much non-engine with 3. And in this format, especially if you want the deck to be competitive, you kind of have to. So that's why we're only running 1. Next up, speaking of fast cards, 3, World Legacy Monstrosity. This is the only deck that this card is viable in my opinion. This card is knucking futz. So what this card does is you can activate one of the bulleted effects. Either you special summon a level 9 from your hand, doesn't negate their effects, so fantastic there already, or, and this is the other effect that you're probably going to be using a lot more, and this is a quick play spell, by the way, so you can activate this on the opponent's turn. So you target a level 9 you control, special summon 2 other level 9s from your deck who do not share a type or attribute with whatever you target. So if you target, say, a QQ and Aegon, you can summon 2 monsters that aren't fire and aren't dinosaurs, which in generators, there are no dinosaurs. So pretty fantastic card there. You have to be careful with it though, because if you target Har, your options are a bit limited, but Vala is a fire as well. And the monsters that you summon off that second effect do get destroyed at the end phase. People did run Nightmare Corruptor Idly in this, which says that level 9 monsters can't be destroyed by card effects, so she would actually protect your monsters from this effect, being destroyed at the end phase. But again, if you see her in your opening hand, it's a bit slow, and for this format, we want to be as fast as possible. And this card is fantastic. It opens you up to some rank 9 plays. It opens you up to summoning Mardell and then getting a search off that as well. Just a very good card overall, and as a quick play spell as well, so you don't even have to use it whenever you see it in your opening hand. You can just set it and pass the turn, and then target whatever you summon off your boss stage, and you basically get 2 more generator effects off that. So you can get your summon negate, your omni negate, and I don't know, monster pop or something if you want to go for the Frody route. Next up, we're going to be going into non-engine stuff. So triple Super Poly. Super Poly is pretty good. Board Breaker, also good going first. Just can't go wrong with it. You don't really care about the discard in this deck, because if you discard Vala or QQ and Aegon, you can still activate their effects in the graveyard. So just overall great card. Makes people mad whenever you activate it. I know it makes me mad whenever I get hit with it. Next up, triple Forbidden Droplet. Pretty much the same. Pretty much the same reasoning there. You don't really care about the cards in your hand going to graveyard because of the fact that you can activate their effects in the graveyard if they're Vala or QQ. So yes, just pretty good there. Next up, one Nobleman or Cross-Set Designator. Basically, call by on steroids at this point. It's a 1 of, might as well run it. Why not? And then finally, Pot of Prosperity. You don't really care about your extra deck too much in this deck. You care about it a little bit, but nothing too crazy, so you can go for the 3 or the 6. It's good ash bait, and if they don't ash it, then you're basically just off to the races with that. Next up, we're going to go into traps. You run 2 generator traps. You run Generator Boss Fight, and then Generator Boss Room. Now, I wasn't very big on this card whenever the Generator first came out. In fact, I never ran it. I would run 3 of this. But I've seen the light. This card's crazy. But first, let's talk about this one. So, Generator Boss Fight. What this does is, when it's activated, you activate a Generator Boss stage from your graveyard or your deck, and then your opponent immediately draws a card. Now, Boss Stage, the special summon effect, is a soft once per turn. So if they ash it in their draw step, you can chain this. It will give them an extra card, which is unfortunate, because this is a big weakness of the deck, in that it tends to give your opponent cards, which in Yu-Gi-Oh! You pretty much never want to do, but it's also contributing to advancing your game state as well. So it's a bit of a tit for tat. That's what makes the deck pretty fun. But once that gets activated, it activates a whole other boss stage from the deck, and then they draw 1 card. That other boss stage is a different boss stage. So that soft once per turn effect will get to resolve. Now, if you already summon the tokens, then you won't get the tokens again, but you'll still get the special summon off the second boss stage. And then finally, Boss Room. Let's talk about this card. This card's fantastic. It is a continuous trap, and it says if your opponent activates anything in response to a generator card
activation. You can then change the effect of whatever they activated to each player draws one card. Again, it does give your opponent cards, but it also gives you a card. And also, if they try and ash your boss stage, you can negate it with this. It's essentially kind of a soft negate. It changes the effect. It actually doesn't even negate it. So cards that say you can't negate the activation of certain cards, this gets around. So it stops ash, stops droplet if they don't send a trap. It stops effect veiler, stops imperm, stops a lot of stuff. This card, I've seen the light on it, and all you have to do to get that effect is discard a card, which we've gone over with the spells you don't really care about, because if you have Vala or QQ, you can still activate them in the grave. So pretty solid card if I do say so myself. Also, it's searchable. You're usually searching this with your boss stage off boss quest. So yes, very, very nice trap. And then we're just gonna go with the staple traps. You have triple impermanence, and this is gonna be a little bit of an issue. I used to run, there can be only one in this deck. However, with the tokens all being fairies, with Vala being a fairy, and with Lopter being a fairy, it doesn't really work because you have so many fairies now that there can be only one. Kind of hurts you. So it's better to side that, in my opinion. It is a very good side card for this deck, though. I would recommend siding there can be only one. However, a card for the main deck, or a side card if you want to do it, is Skill Drain. Now, this card's crazy because all the generators say you can tribute 1 or 2 generators depending on the generator that you summon. They don't specify another generator, so they can tribute themselves. Whenever they tribute themselves, they actually get around skill drains negate. So if you have Har on the board, you can tribute Har and another token, and that negates something even under skill drain, because skill drain says only stuff on the board, like stuff that resolves on the board, basically. Now, with Lopter as well, Lopter can tribute himself, special summon anything else from the deck. It is kind of a double-edged sword because you're not going to be able to get your Mardell Surge. Vala's not going to be able to special summon from the grave if you special her, etc., etc. But I would say the perks far outweigh the cons in running this, and also it's an easy side out if it turns out to not be working well for you. Now, let's move on to the extra deck. First, hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, Leviton, Generator Boss of Shadows. This guy is crazy. So what he does is he takes 2 plus level 9 monsters. So basically you can have 3 or 4 materials under him as well. He makes all your opponent's monsters lose 1,000 attack and defense. That's just a continuous effect. But his main effect is that you can tribute him and then special summon this guy, Jormungandr, Generator Boss of Eternity. We're running 2 of him. So you can tribute Leviton to summon one of this guy. And then you can attach cards from either graveyard or either field to him equal to the amount of materials that he had. It does not target. That effect is nuts. Just because of the fact that it gets around cards that say if this leaves the field by an opponent's card effect, if this card's sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card effect, this card can't be targeted by opponent's cards. He gets around a lot of removal protection. So very nice, and that is a quick effect too, so you can do that on the opponent's turn. He is wild. Ending on him with boss stage is a pretty good setup, if I do say so myself. Next up, we have the Snake Boy that we just talked about, Jormungandr, Generator Boss of Eternity. Now, what he does is he gains 1,000 attack and defense for each material that he has. Also, as a quick effect, you can detach 1 material from him. Each player will draw a card. So giving your opponent cards again. Yeah, you're going to see that come up a lot more. And then each player gives a card to him, basically. They either attach a card from their field or hand to him as material. And so he basically gets rid of 1 material to gain 2, and he just kind of buffs himself. So that's pretty good. He can get kind of crazy. If he gets a lot of material, you can actually swing with him and then put Zeus over him, and Zeus will have like 3 activations, which is kind of wild, bordering on 4. I think I had a Zeus that can activate like 4 times under him, which was wild. But yeah, that's basically what he does. Also, if you have boss stage out and you activate him, they get to draw a card, which then activates your boss stage effect. So pretty good. Next up, some 1 of rank 9s, Infinitrack Earth Slicer. This card has been coming up a lot more than I thought it would, especially against the branded matchup, because branded is still a thing. So What this guy does is he takes 2 level 9 monsters, and you can detach any number of materials from him to blow up that many cards on the board. He also has another effect with Infinitrack you don't really care about. Also, whenever he swings at a monster and kills it by battle, you can actually attach it to him as material. So stuff like Mirror Jade or stuff like Druis Worm actually will not get their effects because they just get put under him. Next up, 9 Lives Cat. I tried filling this profile earlier, didn't work out because I forgot this was a card. I was running Mirror Logic Aggregator because he's also a rank 9, but this is just a better rank 9. So if you don't know what this does, you detach a material that target a level 9 monster in your graveyard or 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard, non-level specific, special summon it, and then your opponent can't target other monsters you control that were special summoned from the graveyard with card effects. So pretty decent card, especially just for 2 level 9s because this deck just runs on level 9s. So yes, pretty nice, pretty nice. Next up, you have Zeus and his brother here. Zeus always comes up in this deck. You'll never see it not come up. He's just fantastic. And then Typhon's just there for, you know, Typhon things. Next up, access code package. Because Har is a dark spellcaster, so you can actually go into him and her and be perfectly fine. And then access code, that'll just push you for game. You don't have to run the access code package. I do, but I am also open to changing it to something like Aggregator or something like that. And then finally, your super poly targets. Dragosteplia, Muddragon of the Swamp, Garura. I could run the Predaplant 3 dark guy as well, or Starving Venom, but I mean, if you're going into those at that point, it's kind of an issue. This is just good against fusion decks. This is just good against any deck for Super Poly. And yes, just Super Poly targets. I mean, what can you really say? Also, Muddragon of the Swamp, everything in this deck is pretty much different attributes, so he actually comes up a little bit. But yes, and then the side deck, we will keep secret because sometimes people watch these and I know that everybody has kind of different flavors with what they like to run. And yes, that's the profile. So that was my take on generators in Big 2025. What do you guys think of it? Leave your thoughts down in the comments. Make sure to like, subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and make sure you hit that bell for all notifications in the future. This is Dog Jinzo signing out. Y'all have a good one.